Right, as I was saying, management has to be informed. Hi, this is Mohammed, and in this assignment, I'll be talking about the process of installing a software. So, before you install a software, first you have to plan the installation, and the planning process, has different parts to be able to, get to the wanted outcome. So in the planning process, first you have to see if the your computer is like compatible with the program you're installing. So you have to know if you have to check if it's the minimum requirements for software is compatible with your PC. Like for example, if you're installing a game, let's say like GTA 5 or something, and the minimum requirements would be to have like at least 8 gigs RAM, 500 GB memory storage, and a graphics card, because without a graphics card, the game would not work properly, or it's gonna lag as if you're working with a very old PC. So you need to make sure that it's compatible with your computer requirements, with the minimum requirements of the software, right? And also, if you are installing over an existing software, let's say like you're upgrading or something, you have to make sure that this is kind of appropriate or the software allows you to do so, because sometimes some softwares are like not compatible with updates. Maybe that's in the past or something like that. You have to delete it and reinstall it again with the newer version or some shit or something. So yeah. Also, ensure that the installation method is suitable. So with this part, that you have to make sure that wherever you're installing from is compatible with the installation. And I will give an example to that because it's kind of unclear. So if I'm trying to install Windows on a PC, I would need either the disk that has the Windows on it, or there's another way of making it by getting a flash drive, at least 8 gigabytes storage, and there's a tool to put Windows to make it like as if it's the CD to be able to install Windows on the computer. So you have to make sure which method you're using is, suitable with the program itself, right? Also, yeah, I was selecting an appropriate location. You have to make sure, where you're gonna put the files. Usually it goes straight away to the C drive, but if you got somewhere else in mind where you want to put it, then, that comes up to you in the end. But by default, it goes to the C drive. Um, so Right, okay, so defining as well the suitable steps into carrying out the installation or upgrade. So you have to, like if it's the first time for you to install and you don't know really not sure what to do, there's always videos online to see, or tutorials. There's different ways you can get the information, but you just have to make sure that you know the steps of getting into the wanted outcome in the end. So you have to go over the installation with other people that have done it before, and then make sure you know what you're doing, and then carry out the installation. So yeah, this is the part about planning. Right, okay, so I'm gonna speak as well now about the materials. So of course, with every installation, there's materials needed to be able to carry out the installation. And of course, the most importantly, without these materials, the installation will not go through or will not work. So, okay, like the first obvious, things that you need is, computer system, like, computer or laptop or whatever you're installing on. And also like the software installation media. So this is the kind of like or they call it the wizard, that kind of carries out the installation and gets you to the wanted outcome. And also, there's also on this part too, you need to check if you got enough system requirements for the installation, and installation guide, which can be found online or within the app itself sometimes. And a license key as well. License key is important because, so you would have the official app, and you don't have some copied or ripped off version of it. So you need the original program with the license key. So you might might have bought it, or you know bought it online or bought it from a store. So you need the license key as well. And yeah, I guess that this is kind of the requirements that you need, or the materials that you need for an installation. Yeah, also selecting software and loading facilities. This means that you have to choose the correct software, which, let's say, if you're updating a program and let's say you're updating it online from, from an online source, and usually they give you the versions because not every computer is the same. Some of them are old, some of them are new. So you kind of need the version that is compatible with your system or with your operating system. So you need to make sure you have the right program. So let's say if you have a latest computer, you would have, let's say, the latest version, which is maybe like 8.3.0, which is the latest out there. So it would be compatible with your PC. Let's say if you have a slightly older PC, it would be like 7.3 or 7.5.0, something like that. So like you go for an older version, which is going to be compatible with your PC. So yeah, this explains the selecting the software and loading facilities. Yeah, also timing. Timing is very important in installation because, let's say, if you're an individual, also as an individual, it could be very important. Let's say I want to upgrade um, Microsoft Office, right? Let's say, and this upgrade will, disable all the Microsoft, products like Word, Excel, etc., right? And I have an important assignment to do and I really need to use them right now. So if I'm going to upgrade, and now it's either I cancel the upgrading process, or I just have to wait until the end to be able to do my assignment. So you have to choose the best suitable time. Let's say, you have to put it overnight or something, or just whenever you're not using your PC to be able to get it on the right time. But as a business, it's even more important because you have to do this upgrading process in a time where the business is not running, or the business would not need the specific service at that time. So you'll be able to carry out the upgrade and not disrupt the business going on. So timing is also very important when it comes to an installation. Right. So okay, this part is about communication. So communication, it's mostly important when it's done, when the upgrade is done with a business, because if you're doing it at home for yourself, you don't really have to tell anyone because it's your own PC, you know what I mean? But if you're doing it for a business, then there's three departments that need to know. First is the end user, because they're the ones who are, head on with the system. They're the ones who are interacting with it daily, and they have to be informed that an installation is happening, like an upgrade is happening, and how long it's going to take, and how long they're going to be out of work for until the installation process is complete, and then they could use the software again. And also because this affects the productivity. Also management has to be informed as well, because as I was saying, management has to be informed as well because well, they have their employees, and in case they are like, they will be concerned about why they are not working or why the productivity has decreased. And so they have to be informed that there's a software upgrade going on, and it's going to affect this, let's say, this department of employees. So for the time being, they have to wait for the installation to be complete there until the employees could go like back to work or carry on like the normal productivity rate as usual. So the management has always have to be informed about this. And also the software vendors could be informed about the installation in case, like they have any questions about the installation, how could it affect, any issues that could arise. Usually this will be stated in the manual, but it's better to have some, technical support there to kind of tell you what could happen or what's going on. Although the company would have its own technical support, but um if like they could not be familiar with, let's say, new bugs or issues that would arise with the new software because maybe they have not seen it before or they have not interacted with it before. So the software vendors will be the ones that would be providing this information. So yeah, that's all about communication. Okay, so next we have the backup procedure. What is a backup procedure? A backup procedure is usually um, it's usually a procedure made in case the installation does not go as it's supposed to. So let's say there's a problem that happened with the installation or the upgrade and it failed, and this failure could cause a lot of issues. One of them, could cause the whole system to go down in the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, it could just lag a certain PC or a couple of PCs where they could just be restarted again and everything will go back to normal. So having a backup plan is very important because it tells you what you need to do in case something goes wrong. So if the program fails, you know exactly what to do, whether it's restarting, closing the program from the computer itself, or just finding, different ways to deal with that problem in case things go as they're not supposed to. So, backup procedure kind of the reassurance for you to be able to like make sure nothing goes wrong. So the next part is about access and permissions, right? So access and permissions are really important because when you're installing a software, let's say if it's newly installed or upgraded, I think it might have the same access and permissions as the old one had. But if let's say you're installing a new software and there's no background of any access given or permission, then you would have to reset that again or like make it from scratch. So what does the word mean? Like the phrase given mean? It means as in like let's say like workstations or places where computers that would just be used by casual people or like lower security clearance people, like, you know what I mean, they would have just user privileges. So they can just use the computer, they cannot install hardware, they cannot install software, they can't really do anything on it much, they just can use it to carry out whatever process they have. And then some accounts would have administrator privileges. So depending on who you are in the facility or in the company, you would be given a certain account with certain privileges. So of course managers would have administrator privileges, technical support would have administrator privileges because they would need to maintain the system. And but casual employees would have like user privileges, or if they're, let's say, in a higher position, they could have slightly higher, slightly a little bit more permission to do some things. It depends on where you are, where do you stand in the company. So this kind of, this is, well, basically the whole concept of access and permissions. Okay, so this part is about contractual requirements. So contractual requirements is basically uh, what the program needs to be able to run properly. Let's say, like, of course, when you install a new program, there's a testing process. You have to test it and test it over again to make sure that it's running correctly and properly. And this is one of the requirements of installing a new system, to make sure that it's going to be effective for the company. It's not going to be a drawback or it's going to be worse than the old system. And also, um, configuration. Yes, configuration is a very important thing because without configuration, certain programs would not run properly. Because usually in an installation process now, at least, the programs would tell you that, okay, we need this from the settings to be changed for the program to run properly. Otherwise, it's not gonna give the outcome that it's supposed to. So things like these, and also like things like these just mm, um, give you the wanted result from the program. So there's certain adjustments, certain things you have to do to be able for the program to run properly. And yeah. Right. Okay, so this part is about the escalation procedure. Well, the escalation procedure and the backup procedure are kind of linked, they are linked in a way, but there's a difference. The backup procedure is basically for, you know, if you just want to cancel the upgrade altogether, just stop it right then and there. You don't want to carry out with it. But With the escalation procedure, it's just in case like something goes wrong and you want to fix it, and you can kind of fix it in a way, it kind of just, it shows you how to do it. You know what I mean? Maybe it could be a little bug, like you have to restart something. Like, say, let's say certain softwares, they cannot run if your computer security is on, like let's say Kaspersky or something, your antivirus is on. I don't know, some programs are like that. So it depends on what bug could make it, could make the installation not go through or something. Then it just shows you, like, you know how to deal with it. Now we'll speak about the training of the end user. So, training the end user is very, very important because let's say, like, when you upgrade the software that the system is currently, like, that the company is currently working with, and that upgrade is going to boost the productivity, let's say by 20 or 30%. If the end user don't know how to use it, like the employees don't know how to work with the system, then they haven't really achieved anything, because maybe it will even have a drawback on the company because they don't know how to use it, so the system will not work at its full potential, therefore not giving the company what is supposed to be given. You know what I mean? The outcome that is supposed to be given. So it's really, really important to train the employees to use the new systems, and give them what they need to be able to carry out the procedure of working with the new system. Right, and yeah, for the last part of M2, I'm gonna be speaking about the resource allocation. So, the resource allocation means that when a new system is installed, you kind of make a little plan, like I said, a little plan for what outcome you want it to give. Like, let's say, as I said in the previous one with training the staff, like, let's say this upgrade is gonna give the company 20% more productivity and income. So, this plan of resource allocation kind of, like, it puts the company in a path to achieve its most profit with the new software that is installed. So it will make you work at its most efficiency, so therefore giving the company more profit, more productivity, even better reputation, if you could, if you want to put it like that. But yeah, it's kind of like, like working with the system to just um to give out its most ability to work within the company. So, resource allocation plan is a really good plan. It's usually a short-term plan, but it's given for like future profits. So it's not something that, like, will be done now, work with now. It's usually like, okay, um, let's say we're gonna buy this new software, it's gonna cost us this amount of money, and well, throughout in, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years time, we'll make maybe like double the profit or something like that, or maybe like one third of the profit. You know what I mean? Like, we'll make, one third more profit. So it depends how, how well this system is going to work with the company and how much it will push it to make more profit. So resource allocation is a very important part. And by saying this concludes my M2 for 29.2.